Thank you for your interest in the My Princeton Oral History Project. On this recording are the project supervisors, Valencia L. Johnson, Project Archivist for Student Life,
Annalise Berdini, Digital Archivist,
and Amanda Ferrara, Public Services Project Archivist.
This is a recording of the training sessions that are held at least once a semester. In this presentation, we will cover what's the My Princeton Oral History Project, what's an oral history, tips for interviewing, project steps for conducting your own oral history, release forms, restrictions, and copyright, and what's inside the checkout kit. In a separate video, we will show you how to put it all together.
The My Princeton Oral History Project is a pilot project for both undergraduates and graduate students at Princeton University. The oral histories can cover any subject a student wishes, from interviewing dining staff to gathering interviews of students to discuss the difficulties of balancing school, family, and work. The main requirement is a current student must be involved in the process.
Some of you may be wondering, what is an oral history? The short answer, it is your story in your voice. Oral histories are created to get firsthand accounts about a specific topic or event. Oral histories and oral traditions have been around for centuries, but were not seen as formal history as Western society preferred the written word as a historical record. Oral histories, therefore, make room for voices that traditional record-keeping practices have excluded. You can discuss your childhood, your experiences, your fears, your family, or anything else you wish to share with the world.
These are some examples of oral history projects from the surrounding area. The transcript on the left is from the Asian American Reproductive Justice Oral History Project held at Smith College in Massachusetts. On the right is Amari JL's oral history for the New York City Trans Oral History Project. Transcriptions of the audio, or in some cases video, are a requirement for any oral history project given to the MUD Manuscript Library in order to provide access to all. There are a couple of oral history projects happening on Princeton's campus, including the LGBTQIA+ Oral History Project, the Brave Voices Project, and oral histories for senior theses.
To recap, the My Princeton Oral History Project allows current students the opportunity to interview their peers on their experience at Princeton University. Focuses on current Princeton students that identify as part of a marginalized or unrepresented community, and teaches how to record and moderate an oral history. Now, we're going to give you some tips on making a successful interview, whether you are the narrator or the interviewer. When you start recording, it's a rule of practice to give the future listeners and readers a location and time and space, and to introduce them to your voices. It can be a simple statement as shown on the screen. This is interviewer with
narrator.
It is date, and we are at location. We are recording for the My Princeton Oral History Project. As the interviewer, your job is to listen to the narrator and to guide them and future listeners through the interview. Before recording, you and the narrator should establish topics of discussion and build a rapport with one another. With your topic guide in hand, you can prompt the narrator when there's a lull in conversation between topics. Don't be afraid to follow tangents if they fall within your topic scope. Oral histories are not meant to be questionnaires nor a casual conversation between friends. Finding the balance between the two can be difficult to achieve. We, Annalise, Amanda, and Valencia, have created prompt questions to help you get started thinking of your interview, but please do not feel like you're obligated to answer any or all of the questions. What makes a good interview question? Any question that is open-ended and allows the narrator to provide more than a yes or no answer. For example, how did you experience the protest? Is better than, did you go to the protest? Also, it is okay to ask follow-up questions such as, tell me how it was, and can you describe it in your own words?
Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. It's okay if the narrator is trying to find the right words or is taking their time thinking about your question. If it seems like the narrator needs help, acknowledge their silence and try reframing the question. For example, you could say, it seems like this question has given you pause. Would you mind sharing what is going through your mind right now? It is okay for people to become emotional during an oral history. We are all human and we all have emotions. Don't feel like the interview has to continue if either participant becomes overwhelmed. take a breather, take a break, and then resume later. As the recording session begins to wrap up, a great way to give the narrator the final say is to ask, is there anything else you want to talk about? Once both parties feel ready to stop recording, the interviewer should thank the narrator for their time and for sharing their experience. Once the recorder is off, be sure to check in with the narrator. Just because the recorder is off doesn't mean your conversation has to be over, but just make sure that the recorder is indeed off before you continue.
While you're recording your interview, it's important to remember a few key points. It's completely up to you to decide how long you would like to record for. It's your story, and you should make sure to allot enough time to your interview to be meaningful. Some interviews go for an hour, but it's up to you to decide. Both the narrator and the interviewer are not obligated to code switch unless you want to. You can swear, express your feelings, be rude, and use slang. Feel free to talk how you would regularly talk and to use the words and phrases that come naturally to you. It is important to know that the project supervisors will review the oral histories while we're processing them. As we are all associated with the university, it's good to remember these facts. Staff and faculty are mandatory reporters for a legal activity that can include, but is not limited to, underage drinking, drug use, and sexual misconduct. You should be mindful about discussing your conduct and the conduct of others while recording, and be aware of the use of others' names. The project supervisors will give you an opportunity to edit the interview transcript after it is transcribed, but taking out large sections of the audio recording may be difficult. You will be able to retract your oral history at any point in time during and after the recording.
Project steps. First, make sure you and your narrator or narrators either attend a training or watch this recording. If you're hearing this, you've already done that. Next, review the forms we require for the project and suggested interview prompts on the LibGuide to familiarize yourselves with them. Then you're ready to check out an oral history kit from Mudd Manuscript Library. Please be aware this location will change to Firestone Library while Mudd is closed for renovations beginning March 15th. You may check out the kit for a total of 48 hours, so make sure you only take it out when you're ready to complete your interview. Once finished, return the kit to Mudd staff with all paperwork completely filled out. We cannot accept the oral history without fully completed paperwork. Mudd staff will process the oral history and make it available based on the release forms. Next, we will review the forms in the oral history kit. These forms are essential to the project process and must be completed by both interviewer and narrator. These forms should be reviewed and completed in full before starting the oral history interview. The first and simplest form in the kit is the interviewer release form. As an interviewer, your role is to facilitate the story of your narrator. As such, this form releases you from any rights to their story and confirms your consent to be recorded during the interview. It also releases Princeton University from any legal claims that could arise as a result of the publication of the oral history. The next form in the kit is the recording restrictions and release form, which every narrator must complete in full. This form covers both a release statement similar to the one in the interviewer form and a restrictions section that allows a narrator to set access limitations to their story. The first section, the release statement, states that the narrator consents to be recorded and interviewed by the interviewer, and that the narrator consents that the interview will be deposited in the Princeton University Archives collection. We cannot collect the oral history without this consent. Narrators must complete and sign this section. We encourage interviewers to confirm and reaffirm the consent of their narrator throughout the interview process. If at any point a narrator becomes uncomfortable with depositing their oral history, they can revoke their consent. Do not ever pressure anyone to deposit an oral history if they express discomfort. At the bottom of the front page of this form, there is a provision for anonymity. Narrators may choose to remain anonymous or use a pseudonym during their oral history. Please understand that Princeton staff cannot anonymize voices, however, only names. If this option is chosen, please do your best to avoid using names during the interview. We can make edits in the transcripts fairly easily, but extensive audio edits to remove names will be difficult.
Though we want your story to be heard, we understand that what you discuss may be sensitive. We respect that and offer a few solutions to feel better about recording an oral history. Rather than making your oral history available online, you may limit it to being available only on-site at Mudd Library, either for a period of time or in perpetuity. Or you can close it for a period of time before it opens for online or in-person access. When choosing your restriction, keep in mind that our goal is access, so choose the earliest possible date you would like someone to be able to access your interview. Copyright for your oral history is a big decision to make. You have a few options that fall into two categories. You can pass your copyright on to Princeton, or you can retain it through a variety of Creative Commons options. We are available to go over these options with you, but there are lots of resources available online to help. This workflow is just one available resource for understanding Creative Commons. There is a copy of this workflow in the kit and online through the LibGuide. To recap, you can choose from the following types of restrictions: none, anonymized, on-site, online, or closed for a period of time. We hope that your restriction wouldn't be closed for an extended period of time, as we want to help share your story. You can choose from the following types of copyright options. You can pass your copyright on to Princeton, or keep your copyright through a variety of Creative Commons options.
So to review, the interviewer will sign the release form and ask the questions during the interview. The narrator will set the copyright, set the restrictions, sign a release form, and must attend a training or watch this video before the interview.
Now we will review the oral history kit components. Open the kit upon checkout and make sure that all the necessary components are present. These include a microphone stand, a digital recorder, a prompt sheet, release forms for the interviewer and narrator, a Creative Commons flowchart, instructions for setting up the recorder and microphone, instructions for using the recorder, original equipment manuals, and a backup disc microphone. The primary microphone is a Shure wired microphone. It should be shared by both interviewer and narrator. For best results, you should speak into the microphone from about 6 inches away in a room that isn't prone to echoing. The microphone cord is required for connecting the microphone to the digital recorder. Make sure both ends are securely plugged in before starting your interview. There is a microphone stand available in the kit that allows you to center the microphone between interviewer and narrator. It also helps cut down on background noise by removing the need to pass the microphone back and forth. It may not be convenient in a room without a table or with an overly large table. Remember the 6-inch recommended distance. This is the digital recorder. It is easy to use. Simply turn it on and press the record button to start recording. It has a playback function so that you can test for sound quality, a pause button so you can take breaks without creating a new recording, a re-record function that allows you to record over something you've just recorded, and of course, a stop function. Full instructions for use are included in the kit, or check out our Putting Everything Together video for a full walkthrough of the setup. On the off chance that the primary microphone doesn't seem to be working or is for some reason inconvenient, there is a backup disc microphone in the kit. The sound quality will suffer as compared to using the Shure microphone, but it's good in a pinch. If any components are missing from the kit or do not seem to work, please let Mudd staff know when returning the kit.
Thank you for watching this training video. We, Annalise, Amanda, and Valencia, look forward to working with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Mudd Library at mudd@princeton.edu.